This is the rule that I use in all of my games, and I'm sure that if you start using this rule yourself, your level and your technique and your rating would improve no matter where you are. And this rule is that the threat is bigger than the execution. And you might be asking yourself, okay, what are you talking about? So I'm going to show you 3 examples, and don't leave because at the end you're going to have a bonus. It is not exactly the same idea and rule that I'm talking about here, but it's going to be very similar and very useful for you as well. So let's start with the first position and you're going to understand better what I mean. Here it's black to play. Pause the video and think what you play as usual. And okay, probably most of you would take the c3 pawn here because you will be winning a pawn. And if they take on a7, you take on a3. So that's probably your favorite move right now. However, I have to say that this is like a very bad move, a very huge blunder, and very bad understanding of chess. And why is that? Well, first of all, you have to understand that c3 is a permanent weakness. Like, okay, white can try to defend it and so on, but I mean, he's going to be attached to defending that pawn the whole game. And I mean, if you take on c3, although you're a pawn up, white is going to feel relieved. And the problem is that after bishop a7, you have to take with the rook on a3, because if you take with the bishop, after rook fb1, there's no way of defending this pawn, unfortunately, because you cannot play rook c7, the bishop would be lost then. So we have to take with the rook takes, bishop takes, rook b1. And I mean, there are ways of defending the pawn like b6 or knight c5, because white has some problems on the band rank. However, this is not very easy to put pressure, and the moves that white has to play are much easier than the moves that black has to play. And I mean, of course you can try, but I think with some easy play with white and no very big blunders, this should be a draw. And it was a pity because here black had a very nice advantage, but you should use this rule that the threat is bigger than the execution. Like, white is going to feel very inconvenient defending this pawn, and it's going to be very annoying for him. So the best move here would be to play bishop c5, like trade our bad bishop for his best bishop. And I mean, the remaining position would be great for us, and this weakness would be a nightmare for white. Here white has some options. I mean, if they take the bishop, we just take with the knight, and here it's very clear that black has a very nice advantage. We are putting pressure here. The knight can go to a4. The bishop on g2 is very bad. Of course, it's very clear that black has a very nice advantage here. If they play bishop d2, I mean, we just go knight b6. Again, we are targeting the bishop with the rook, knight c4, and putting pressure on a3 as well. Knight a4 might be an idea if they go something like bishop c1. It's very clear that black is doing very well. And rook f1, here we just take and play knight c5, and I mean, similar story. Like, our knight can go here. We have very nice pressure. The rook can enter white's position. Here white is doing extremely well. And yeah, I think if bishop d2, knight b6 was already explained, so yeah, it's pretty clear that black here is doing very well. So if you can execute a threat, like, think twice, because maybe not doing that and keeping the threat might be stronger, as you have seen here. Okay, let's move on into the next position, because here this could be related to tactics or to strategies. It doesn't matter so much. It's white to play. Again, think what would you play here. Remember that you are pawn down, so you need to play aggressive. So yeah, probably you have seen that the queen is on e4, it's on the center, so maybe a move came to your mind like d3, attacking the queen, or maybe rook e1 or knight c3 could be an option as well. But again, this is like the same story. Like, black is feeling very uncomfortable here because he has the queen on the center, and if we attack the queen, black is going to feel very relieved. I mean, let's say we go d3, they go queen g4, pinning the knight, and now the queen is ready to go if we play something like h3, and we are pawn down. Now black is going to just develop his pieces, and we're going to be much worse, unfortunately. Yeah, I mean, same happens if rook e1. Yeah, if I was black here, I wouldn't take the pawn. I would just play queen g4, trying to go back and again develop my pieces. If I have one extra pawn, I think taking the second pawn is unnecessary. Knight c3, same story. Queen g4 is playable, even queen takes c4, and the queen can just escape if, I don't know, there's something like d3, queen g4, and I don't think we have enough compensation. So again, we should keep the threat and make a very strong move here, which is d4. We open the position, and like the queen is still on the center. Now we can play moves like knight c3, rook e1, and black is very bad here, and probably he's going to leave the queen himself. But okay, now with d4, the position is going to get more open, and it's pretty clear that black has some huge problems here. So again, same story here. Now I'm going to show you a position that happened on a game of mine, so you can see that this is something that I use myself as well. I mean, I have very good memory of this game because it was when I crossed 2400 for the first time and when I made my second IM norm. And here I was playing with white. And I mean, it's very tempting to play queen h7 here, king f8, queen h8, king e7, take the pawn. But I saw that after rook e8, queen h6, I mean, if queen f6, king d7, nothing's happening here really. I mean, if queen h6, same story, like rook d6, queen h4, king d7. I mean, I saw that black could perfectly defend this position. But okay, I thought that queen h7 was unavoidable. I mean, there's no way that black can prevent me from going queen h7, because if he goes king f8, I can always go queen h8 or even knight h7, knight e5 if I want to make a repetition. But okay, I don't think that was even necessary. Even if king f8, maybe there are like some ideas with knight h7 and knight f6 and so on. So I mean, I just play the most natural move in the position. I play rook d1. I was planning to play rook e1 as well, so I have all my pieces on active and good squares, and I would play queen h7 and queen h8 in the moment that I want, not here. And yeah, after a couple of moves, I crashed him here. I went queen h7. I thought it was the moment, because if he plays rook e8 here, now I have queen f6 and rook takes d3 check. Yeah, that was the advantage of having the rook on d1 and not on a1. And yeah, I mean, I just crashed him in a couple of moves. Very good memory. And yeah, it's nice because in a very important game like this, I was able to apply the rule. And okay, here he resigned. I think I shouldn't explain why. And okay, this is the bonus. Now I'm not going to show exactly this idea that the threat is bigger than the execution, but I mean, it's very similar that sometimes we have a completely dominant position, like our opponent can't move, and we rush and we try, I don't know, to break through, to do any tactic, and sometimes we just mess and spoil our position. So okay, here black, of course, it's much better, although he's a piece down, he has some pawns, like white pieces can barely move. And probably some people would try to go with 5 and rook f3 and queen h3, and yeah, I'm sure that's winning as well. But if you take a deep look at this position, I mean, like white can't move a single piece. And this game is very famous between Ninthowicz and Samic, because I mean, here Ninthowicz played h6 and white resigned. And I mean, it's nice because white can't move a single piece. If you play g4, I go rook f3, and now if you take, I have rook h2 checkmate. Okay, I'm going to show so you can see. This is checkmate. Okay, if you play king h2, same story, rook f3 is just winning. You can't move this rook because you would be losing the rook. Okay, if you move this rook, I have rook e2. Bishop c1, I can just take the knight. I mean, this is very funny. And I mean, you can play b3, but I can even play like king h8, and now you're running out of moves. You have to play something that is losing, unfortunately. So yeah, I think this was a great example that, okay, sometimes, okay, you're not going to have this position in all of your games, but I mean, sometimes you don't need to rush, and when you are like completely crushing your opponent, it's better to play a slow move, and your opponent would make a blunder himself. Because I mean, in this position, it's very easy to make a blunder with white. I mean, so many moves that are losing, you don't really know what to do. You want to do something because you feel a lot of pressure, and you mess up. Here he preferred to resign, but yeah, I'm sure black would have won this game very early. So okay, I think this is very clever. I would probably do more videos talking about this rule because it's very important, and I think a lot of examples need to be proven. need to be shown about this to be proven. So okay, subscribe if you like, because that helped me so much. Tell me in the comments what do you think, if you want to see more examples about this, and see you in the next videos. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.